Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. Let's take another look here at Solana, see what's going on. Solana is struggling, but also maintaining very well, contrary to other altcoins, right? So if we look at the overall sentiment here, majority of coins are kind of breaking even. Solana is too in a lot of ways, but not dumping hard, which is a very good sign. So let's take a look at the back end data here, kind of see what's going on. And to those of you who keep liking the videos and commenting below, I deeply appreciate you. Thank you so much. Just make sure you like the video every single time. Comments are nice, but they're not required, even though it does help to have that. It's just great to be able to have just a great vote of confidence. So thanks again so much for the awesome feedback and just being an amazing part of my life. If you're new to the channel, check us out. Link down below, cryptocash.tech, or reference Bitunix too, folks. Phenomenal exchange. Between now and May 14th, we got a nice little deposit reward bonus there for you. So let's take a look at the back end. Recognize this lower liquidation range of 144 to 142 has been swept. We got some late longs here at 142 and previous longs at 140. So I think we could still go a little bit lower based on liquidation, but that's not always like a certainty, if you will. Okay. When we do look at the macro, we can see it's kind of spread out. There's a lot of longs that are subject to a difficult time ahead. Now, it's not to say it's going to happen, but just understand that there's the odds are kind of against you if you're taking a long right now. We look at liquidation delta; it's shifted to 1 billion to the downside. Basically, we have $1 billion more in liquidation that could occur to shorts than it could occur to longs. What that tells us is that obviously there's more shorts in the game, and there is no reason to really trade against that, right? Taking a long here in this case isn't really advantageous because you're going to be going against the grain. You're going to be one of those heroes. You're going to try to do a hero play and show everyone how awesome you are on social media when you take a long at 144. Not to say that it's wrong. I've been talking about 144 being a consideration for a good area of interest for me to want to take a long, but once again, you reevaluate, you figure out if it's worthwhile, and we're going to see here soon if that is the case. All that being said, open interest from the last 7 days here is basically telling us that we are in, we're not in bad shape, but just implies 150 is that resistance for us. And if we take a look at the monthly here, we can recognize we got a lot of support in the low 130s. So that's my ultimate interested area, like 136 to 133. That's a good range there I'm considering. Now, let's take a look here at the overall sentiment. This liquidation range has been swept. And keep in mind, folks, I do post playout charts on my Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. They look a little something like this. Make sure you reference those. By the way, Bitcoin is printing a power of 3 potential head and shoulders type of pattern here. It's not looking fantastic, and that does imply further downside for Solana is more likely. So let's take a look here at the daily time frame and recognize too here where we're at. First things first, we want to note that we are still above the 50-day SMA, right? And that's right there at 133. So that's a perfect area of interest, obviously, if we were to come down there to consider buying one of these two dips, right? So while it's never perfect and we don't always get what we want, that would be a great place based on confluence there with the moving average. We can also recognize here too, we haven't lost 50 on the RSI yet, so if the price doesn't pull back a little bit further, we'd have that nice little support for us. We can recognize money flow index is right there with the price action, but stochastic is swinging down and MACD is diverging. So these are all signs kind of letting us know that the shift in momentum is official and that we're on our way down. Okay, so that's just kind of what it's telling us. Is that a guarantee? No. Do I believe thoroughly that we're going to go straight to the bottom? No. But I do feel personally that a little bit more downside makes more sense just based on how weak Bitcoin's looking in the 94K range. Once more, it's in its support range between 94 and 95 approximately, and that's a good sign. That's a good area of accumulation. There's a lot of volume there, but we're below our point of control. We're below a lot of different indications telling us that there's weakness on Bitcoin. And even though Solana is doing better than Bitcoin is on the way down, it's still subject to that reversal. Okay. Same thing here as well. We're under 50 on the RSI again. We're right there underneath our moving average, stochastic swinging down, MACD diverging. These are all signs that are not super awesome. We do take a look at TD sequential. We're kind of getting some good resets here, so there's nothing really telling us that we're overextended either. This is just kind of like that natural bleed out. We're also seeing that we're below the moving averages. So until we get back up over, just say 146, 145, there's no real indication of taking long right now with confidence or that it would be a good idea. Furthermore, too, if we look at local point of control, 151, if the price does ever recover to that level, that'd be a solid consideration for a short, just based on the simple fact that it's our point of control. We got a lot of confluence there with our 0.618 fib level. And just say hypothetically Bitcoin were to run back towards its 95K range, just say we do one of these. there's a good chance that Bitcoin will reject there. And if that does happen, then we're going to be in a position where the price action will continue lower for Solana. Okay, and that would be a pretty awesome little short consideration in the 150 range, the low 150s. Just again, shooting from the hip right now. It's funny. Some people will watch these things later and be like, "Oh, you were wrong. It came up to 150. It's at 150 now." This aged well. Yeah, that's because this analysis isn't good for years. It's good for days. And at this point, the next couple of days, I would say better case scenario 150 is a recovery point for us, and more likely to reject there if Bitcoin does the same thing too. Okay, a lot of ifs and hypotheticals here, unfortunately. No guarantees, but the overall sentiment here that isn't iffy is the fact that we're on a divergence. We're below all important moving averages. We're below that point of control. There's a lot of reasons why taking a long right now is just not a sound decision. That's it. That's all there is to it. And once more, when you take trades based on statistical likelihoods. And right now, we're statistically more likely to go down than up. But once more, it's only based on the predication that Bitcoin continues lower. If Bitcoin recovers and maintains its range, goes back towards 100,000, none of this matters. Okay, that's kind of how it works. And we always had to march to the beat of Bitcoin's drum. So unfortunately, the sooner you get on board with that, the better off you're going to be. Okay, and it's just kind of the cold, hard reality of crypto trading. All right, folks, that's all we got for the moment. I'll go ahead and update our playout chart again. I'll reiterate and reinforce with my chart the support levels and important ranges for you. In the meantime, of course, make sure you check out Bitunix too. Just friendly reminder, if you're using Bitunix, awesome deposit bonus here right now for the month of May up to the 14th. So you got about 10 days to take advantage of that. Hope you all have a good one. Thanks again so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.